Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most iconic and surprising fighter jets in Israel's aviation history, the IAI Kfir. A jet that proved that innovation, determination, and ingenuity could transform a nation's defense industry forever. The Kfir, meaning lion cub, in Hebrew, is more than just a fighter jet. It's a story of how a small country defied the odds and built a world-class warplane from the ground up. When Israel was cut off from foreign aircraft supplies in the late 1960s, its engineers faced an enormous challenge. France had been Israel's primary supplier of military aircraft, particularly the Mirage 3, which formed the backbone of the Israeli Air Force. But after the French arms embargo in 1967, Israel had to find another way to maintain air superiority. That's where the Kfir story begins, born from necessity, built with brilliance, and designed to perform. The base for the Kfir was the French Mirage 5 airframe, a proven and elegant design known for its delta wing and speed. Israel had already developed a deep understanding of the Mirage through years of operation and maintenance. However, the real transformation came when Israeli engineers decided not just to copy the Mirage but to improve it dramatically. The result was the Kfir, an Israeli-made jet that combined French aerodynamic design, American engine power, and local ingenuity. One of the most significant improvements in the Kfir was its powerplant. Instead of the French 8-er engine, Israel fitted the Kfir with the American General Electric J79 turbojet engine, the same engine used in the legendary F-4 Phantom II. This single change gave the Kfir a massive boost in thrust and performance, transforming it into a supersonic powerhouse. The challenge was enormous, as fitting a completely different engine meant redesigning the air intakes, the fuselage structure, and even the cooling systems. Yet Israel Aircraft Industries managed it with precision, resulting in a fighter that was faster, tougher, and more capable than ever. The Kfir could reach speeds of Mach 2.3, giving it the speed to intercept high-flying threats and engage in dogfights effectively. Its acceleration and climb rate were exceptional for its era, and pilots praised its agility and responsiveness. The aircraft was also equipped with advanced avionics, Israeli radar systems, and improved weapon control systems. Unlike the Mirage, which was more of a pure interceptor, the Kfir was a true multi-role fighter, capable of both air superiority missions and ground attack roles. In combat, the Kfir quickly earned respect. It entered service with the Israeli Air Force in the early 1970s, just in time to play a supporting role during regional tensions. It wasn't heavily used in the 1973 Yom Kippur War since it was still in testing and limited production, but by the late 1970s, the Kfir became a key part of Israel's frontline squadrons. Its ability to carry a wide range of weapons, from air-to-air missiles like the Shafir and Python, to bombs and rockets for ground strikes, made it incredibly versatile. The design philosophy behind the Kfir reflected Israel's combat experience. Pilots needed a jet that could take off quickly, survive heavy anti-air defenses, strike deep targets, and engage enemy fighters if needed. The Kfir delivered all of that. Its delta-wing design gave it stability at high speeds and excellent performance at high altitudes, while its canard foreplanes, added in later variants like the Kfir C2 and C7, improved maneuverability and reduced landing speeds. These small forward wings became a defining visual feature of the Kfir and gave it an aggressive, modern look that remains impressive even today. The Kfir C2 variant represented a major leap forward. It introduced aerodynamic refinements, improved avionics, and additional hardpoints for weapons. With the addition of canards, the aircraft's handling characteristics improved dramatically. The C2 could pull tighter turns, recover from stalls more effectively, and land on shorter runways. This version became the backbone of the Israeli Air Force throughout the late 1970s and early 1980s, serving in numerous operations and missions across the region. By the 1980s, the Kfir had matured into a world-class multi-role fighter, but Israel was already moving toward even more advanced aircraft like the F-15 and F-16. Yet the Kfir's story didn't end there. Instead of retiring it early, Israel decided to offer it to other countries, and that's where the jet found new life. Nations like Colombia, Ecuador, and Sri Lanka all operated the Kfir, using it effectively in both air defense and ground strike roles. Perhaps one of the most interesting chapters in the Kfir's life was its service with the United States. Yes, you heard that right, the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps actually flew Israeli Kafirs. Under the name F-21A Lion, the aircraft was used as an aggressor jet to simulate enemy aircraft during training exercises. The Kafir's high speed and delta wing characteristics made it an ideal stand-in for Soviet fighters like the MiG-23. American pilots learned valuable dogfighting skills against Kafirs, proving how capable the Israeli design really was. Colombia became one of the most enthusiastic operators of the Kfir, and even in the 21st century, it continues to fly upgraded versions. The Kfir Block 60, the most advanced model, includes modern radar systems, glass cockpits, electronic warfare suites, and compatibility with modern weapons. This modernization allowed the Kfir to remain relevant decades after its first flight, a true testament to the strength of its original design. Technically, the Kfir was ahead of its time in several areas. It featured a robust airframe capable of withstanding high G-forces, and its delta wing allowed for stable supersonic flight. The J-79 engine, though older by today's standards, gave it tremendous thrust and reliability. Israeli engineers also emphasized easy maintenance and turnaround time, essential for a small nation that needed to keep its aircraft mission-ready around the clock. One of the Kfir's unsung advantages was its adaptability. Over the years, it was fitted with various radar systems, navigation aids, and weapon integration software. The aircraft could carry precision-guided munitions, making it suitable for modern strike missions. Even as the world moved toward fourth and fifth generation fighters, the Kfir continued to find customers who valued its ruggedness and affordability. In many ways, the Kfir represents the spirit of Israeli defense technology, making the most out of limited resources through smart engineering and bold innovation. It proved that Israel could not only build its own fighters but also compete on the global market. The lessons learned from the Kfir's design and production directly influenced later Israeli projects, such as the Levi fighter, and even components that found their way into international collaborations. Despite being introduced over 50 years ago, the Kfir's design still looks sleek and aggressive today. Its sharp delta wings, pointed nose, and compact fuselage give it a timeless appearance. On the ground or in flight, it looks every bit like a jet that means business. Many aviation enthusiasts still admire the Kfir for its aesthetics as much as its performance. What's truly remarkable is that the Kfir continues to fly operationally even today. Few aircraft from the 1970s can make that claim. Modernized Kfirs in Latin American air forces are still active, providing air defense and training roles. Their continued service highlights how durable and adaptable the design has been over the decades. When you look back at the history of fighter aircraft, the Kfir may not have the same global fame as the F-16 or MiG-29, but its impact is undeniable. It was a cornerstone of Israeli air power during a critical period, a technological bridge that took Israel from dependence to independence in aircraft production. It taught Israeli engineers how to integrate systems, engines, and avionics from multiple sources, a skill that continues to serve the nation's defense industry to this day. Even though the Kfir never participated in large-scale aerial battles like some of its contemporaries, its deterrence value was enormous. Its mere presence ensured that Israel maintained a credible air defense force while transitioning to American-made fighters. The aircraft's reputation spread far beyond the Middle East, inspiring other small nations to pursue their own defense innovation paths. Every pilot who flew the Kfir described it as powerful, reliable, and demanding respect. It wasn't an easy aircraft to fly, especially compared to newer fly-by-wire jets, but it rewarded skilled pilots with speed, agility, and combat power. In training and combat, it gave Israel's airmen confidence that they could meet any challenge. In the grand timeline of aviation, the Kfir stands out as a symbol of resilience and self-reliance. It's a reminder that great technology doesn't always come from massive budgets or vast industrial bases. Sometimes, it comes from necessity, creativity, and the will to survive. The Kfir embodied all of those qualities. Today, restored Kfirs can be seen in museums and air shows around the world, where they still draw crowds with their thunderous roar and striking design. Some private companies even operate Kfirs as contract aggressor aircraft, continuing their tradition of training pilots for real-world combat. That longevity, both in the air and in aviation culture, says a lot about how well built the Kfir truly was. So when we talk about legendary aircraft, the Kfir deserves its place among them. It wasn't the fastest or the most advanced jet of its time, but it was one of the most important. It represented Israel's leap into becoming a self-sufficient technological power, setting the stage for decades of innovation that followed. Even now, the Kfir remains a proud symbol of Israeli ingenuity, a classic fighter that still impresses, still flies, and still commands respect wherever it goes. It's not just a piece of military history, it's a legacy that continues to inspire engineers, pilots, and defense designers around the world. And that's the story of the Kfir Fighter Jet, the Israeli classic that still impresses, even half a century later.